Today is a day to honor a great man who had great vision, and he believed in nonviolence. He believed in hope and faith.
Hi, I'm Deborah Crable for Say Baltimore. Richard Pryor, the comedian, stepped aside on the eve of Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday, and Richard Pryor, the man, emerged to commemorate this great civil rights leader. Richard Pryor spoke before a crowd at the Department of Agriculture in Washington, D.C. When he approached the podium, he asked the question, why me? I'm not a civil rights activist. Why have you asked me to speak before this crowd to commemorate this great leader?
And I had to think about whether to come here today and what it was about. And I want to say something about that. I said, I would not want to do anything that would cast blight on the memory of Dr. Martin Luther King. I would not want to be a party to anything to embarrass the millions of black and white people in America who have struggled to make it possible that I can stand here today. I never rode on a bus in my life and took the abuse that some of you out there took. And I was flying on the plane here from California, and I was reading a book about Dr. King, and there were pictures in the book, and it brought back memories of that time for me. And it swelled my heart up with joy and pride to think of the courageousness of every person who participated in that time. You may not know how brave you were to do that, to sit there and take abuse and be spat upon, hit in the head with clubs, stoned, ugly words thrown at you, and keep your dignity and remain nonviolent. I was one of those people who said that if anyone ever did that to me, I'd stab them in the eye. I'd hit them in the head with a brick. But that's because I was frightened. I was too frightened to go down to Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia. I was too scared to sit in the church at night and plan meetings. I was too frightened to be a part of that. But if it wasn't for you people who were down there and did that, believe me, I know in my heart that I wouldn't be here today. Today is a day to honor a great man who had great vision, and he believed in nonviolence. He believed in hope and faith. And today is also about a black woman who in Montgomery, Alabama one day was tired, her neck was hurting, her body ached from the work she was doing that day. And she got on a bus. She sat down where she saw a seat. And they asked her to move to the back. And she was tired. And she was tired of all of it. She said, no, not gonna move me. It's wrong. And because that lady, Miss Rosa Parks, did that, it started everything that is happening here today. And we owe Miss Rosa Parks a great amount of gratitude. It is also about James Meredith. It's about Bobby Kennedy. It's about Medgar Evers. It's about Malcolm X. It's about Roy Wilkins, and it's about Ralph Abernathy. It's about Huey Newton, too. It's about Eldridge Cleaver. It's about every black human being who tried to make a difference. It's about the 3 civil rights people who were murdered in Mississippi, who gave their life for something they believed in. You don't understand what that's like. You can't imagine the horror those men went through for standing up for something they believed in. And they died for it. And I honor them. And I thank them, and I'm forever grateful for them. So I'm here. I had a speech all written, and I was nervous about saying it, and rightfully I should be, because I don't make speeches. I'm a comedian, and I'm a professional comedian, and as you can see, I can't even talk very good when I'm not making jokes.
But it is Richard Pryor who used comedy to heal America's wounds caused by racism and prejudice. It is Richard Pryor who used the universal language of laughter to remind us of Dr. King's message and dream. We are all the same, we are all equal. I spoke with Richard Pryor during an interview, and he shared some very intimate thoughts with me. You do not view yourself as a political activist or civil rights leader, but yet you are here today commemorating Dr. Martin Luther King. What do you share with Dr. King?
Because of him and the people who supported him, the motion picture industry opened up enough to allow me to step into it, and because I was prepared and ready for it, I advanced myself to the position I'm in today. But without the struggle of men like Dr. Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, I wouldn't be sitting here today. It wouldn't be possible without the millions of people throughout America who gave their time and in some cases gave their life. So that's why I honor Dr. Martin Luther King. What I have in common with him is I admire his dream. And I hope that someday that it will be a reality, it can be a reality, if you raise up and look in your heart and pull yourself out of your depressions and your own self-needs. You can see it's a great world if you count your blessings.
Today was a very serious moment for you and for all of us in the audience. I felt for a moment, before you approached that podium, that there was a sense of concern, anxiety, as to whether people were going to accept you as Richard Pryor with a serious message or Richard Pryor with a joke and antic. Was that real?
Yes. I was debating, believe me, right up until the moment I opened my mouth. I was deciding what to do. And I only wanted to do something that would honor Dr. King. I wouldn't want to do anything that would bring, like I said, a blight on his name and the honor of this day for him.
There was another very emotional moment for you and again for us in the audience. You were so moved that you were brought to tears. Can you explain to me what was going through your mind, through your heart at that moment?
I was thinking about the little children in the churches that were bombed and the people that were beaten and abused, and never once did a mass retaliation take place. They retaliated in a far way that was unsuspecting to everyone, with nonviolence, simply by still pushing for what was right and not allowing yourself to be caught up in the mass murder. We can't win a war here like that. And Martin Luther King showed us the way. And it's forever open. The door is open. We know how to do it now.
What is the real story behind what happened when you hurt yourself?
I tried to kill myself, and I did it over a period of years, and finally, one day I decided to end it all. I didn't want to be here anymore. It was too painful. And that's because I wouldn't be nonviolent to myself, I guess.
You wanted to end it all? You're a man who's made significant contributions in the world of comedy, entertainment, and in terms of reaching people and making people understand about themselves, about their situations and their environments. Why would a man such as that want to end it all?
Drugs. Drugs had a large contribution. Drugs and alcohol, chemicals. And eventually you run down to a point where there's I felt that I'd sold my soul, and there was no reason to live anymore, to be a part of the world. I was worthless and useless. If a man had all this opportunity and all I ended up doing sitting in the house smoking a bass pipe, then God had made a mistake in choosing me to do something right and to bring about some good things. So in order to save my very soul from going to hell, I felt I had to kill myself in order to live.